What is true strength? Ask the world today, and you'll hear answers like wealth, power, status, dominance, or control over others. But if you asked a Stoic, if you asked Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus, they would give you a very different answer. To them, true strength was never about conquering nations, controlling markets, or overpowering your enemies. It was, and still is, about conquering yourself. It begins the moment you think less, when you silence the storm of overthinking. It grows the moment you talk less, when you master the discipline of your words. And it reaches its peak when you focus more, when every ounce of your attention is directed towards what truly matters. This video will take you deep into Stoic philosophy. By the end, you'll understand why the greatest emperors, philosophers, and leaders considered restraint more powerful than rage, silence more powerful than anger, and silence more powerful than rage, effective than noise, and focus more valuable than any weapon. Let's begin with the first foundation of Stoic strength, thinking less. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Think about that. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying a mistake you made 5 years ago? How many mornings have you ruined worrying about a meeting that hasn't even happened yet? The mind, when left unchecked, becomes a prison. It pulls you into the past with regret. It drags you into the future with fear. It never lets you rest in the only place you can act, the present. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Do not let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Do not try to picture everything bad that could happen. Stick with the situation at hand." The Stoics knew that the enemy was not the world, but the stories we tell ourselves about the world. Overthinking feels like strength because it feels like preparation. If I think about it long enough, I'll solve it. If I replay it in my mind, I'll be ready for the future. But in reality, overthinking doesn't prepare you, it paralyzes you. Epictetus put it sharply, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. The event itself, the rejection, the failure, the loss, is never as painful as the endless commentary your mind adds afterward. The Stoics train themselves to strip events of their judgments. Instead of, "This is a disaster," say, "This happened." Instead of, "What if I fail?" say, "I will act." The outcome is not mine to control. This radical mental shift is the first step in reducing thought. One of Epictetus' simplest but most powerful teachings was this: some things are in our control, others are not. That's it. That's the dividing line of sanity. When you take your endless list of worries and cut them into 2 columns, mine and not mine, you free your mind. Did you fail an exam? The grade is not in your control anymore. The effort you give to the next exam is, did someone insult you? Their opinion is not in your control. Your response is there a storm coming tomorrow? Not in your control. How you prepare is. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength every night. Write down your worries. Divide them into 2 lists. Act on the first, burn the second. This is how you think less. At first glance, thinking less sounds like weakness. Doesn't intelligence require more thinking? Isn't success about analyzing everything? The Stoics would say, no. True wisdom is knowing when to stop thinking. True strength is the ability to say, this thought does not serve me. I release it. In war, strength is about how many weapons you can hold. In life, strength is about how many thoughts you can let go of. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. Retreat to this inner sanctuary often. Our world has multiplied the traps of thought. Social media feeds us endless what-ifs and comparisons. News cycles keep us terrified about things far beyond our influence. Notifications drag us from one worry to another before we've even finished breakfast. To think less in today's world is not stupidity. It's rebellion. It's an act of strength. Imagine two people. One spends his morning scrolling, panicking about global events he cannot change. The other spends his mornings journaling, identifying what is within his control and focusing his energy only there. Which one do you think will have a stronger, calmer, more productive life? Here's a practical way to begin your mornings the Stoic way. Sit in silence. No phone, no noise, just you. Write down your top 3 tasks, not 20, just 3. For each task, ask, is this in my control? If yes, focus. If no, let it go. Repeat a Stoic mantra. This moment is enough. I control my mind, not events. I will act and I will accept. Do this for 1 week, and you'll notice the fog in your head clearing. You'll start acting more, worrying less. The Stoics often use metaphors of nature to describe peace. The calm mind is like a still lake, reflecting the world, but not disturbed by it. The overthinking mind is like stormy waves, thrashing, chaotic, unable to reflect anything clearly. Marcus Aurelius said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Strength, then, begins not in the body, not in the voice, not in possessions, but in the silencing of thought. The Stoics believed silence was not emptiness, it was power. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Think about that. Nature itself gave us a clue. Listen more, speak less. But in today's world, the opposite happens. We live in an age of noise. Every opinion must be posted. Every thought must be tweeted. Every conversation must be recorded and shared. We mistake talking for doing. We confuse noise with strength. But Marcus Aurelius warned us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one talking less doesn't mean being weak, shy, or invisible. It means being intentional. A careless tongue can ruin a friendship, destroy trust, or escalate conflict in seconds. But a disciplined tongue protects you. It gives your words weight. Seneca put it clearly, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence. The one who controls his tongue controls his destiny." To the Stoics, words were not toys. They were tools. Every word had to serve one of 3 purposes: to seek truth, to teach wisdom, to build character. Anything else, gossip, slander, meaningless chatter, was considered waste. Epictetus said, "Be silent for the most part, or if you speak, say only what is necessary and in few words." This wasn't about being antisocial. It was about conserving energy. Why waste your breath on what doesn't matter when you could use that energy for action? We live in a culture of endless chatter. In offices, people spend more time discussing work than actually doing it. On social media, people argue for hours about events they can't change. At home, we vent, gossip, complain, but rarely reflect. The Stoics saw this as a trap. Every wasted word is a wasted life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let no act be done without a purpose, nor otherwise than according to the perfect principles of art." The same goes for words. Speak only when there is purpose. Here's a practical challenge. Before you speak, pause for 2 seconds and ask yourself, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? If the answer is no, stay silent. This exercise feels strange at first, but it transforms your relationships. You'll find yourself avoiding arguments, reducing conflict, and gaining respect. Because silence cannot be misquoted. History remembers leaders not for the speeches they gave daily, but for the words that echoed for centuries. Socrates spoke rarely, but when he did, his students built a philosophy around his words. Marcus Aurelius never wrote books for others. His private meditations, discovered by chance, still inspire millions. Epictetus was born a slave, yet his sharp words shaped the minds of emperors. Notice the pattern? Strength is not in speaking often. It is in speaking well. In our age, talking less is revolutionary. Every platform encourages you to react instantly. Post now. Reply fast. Comment quick. But the Stoic way is to pause, to hold back, to let your silence speak louder than your rush to respond. Imagine this. While others argue online for hours, you spend that time building, learning, or practicing. When you finally speak, your voice carries weight. That is Stoic strength. Talking less naturally makes you a better listener, and listening is one of the most underrated powers in the world. Most people don't want advice. They want to be heard. The one who listens deeply gains trust, influence, and wisdom. Zeno again reminds us, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Double the listening, half the speaking. In a noisy world, the one who listens becomes a lighthouse. People are drawn to them. Try this for 1 week. In conversations, resist the urge to interrupt. Let the other person finish fully. Before responding, pause and repeat back what they said in your own words. This does 2 things. It forces you to truly understand, not just hear. It makes the other person feel valued. You'll find conflicts dissolving before they even ignite. Words leak energy. Every rant, every complaint, every gossip drains you. Silence, on the other hand, builds energy. It keeps your focus intact. It strengthens your will. Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That includes the tongue. The man who cannot control his words cannot control his life, but the man who speaks with purpose rules himself, and in that rules the world. Picture this. In a meeting full of noise, one person remains silent, listening carefully. At the end, they speak a single sentence that cuts through the chaos. Everyone turns, everyone listens. That is the image of Stoic strength, not the loudest, not the angriest, not the most talkative, but the calm, silent, disciplined one whose words land like arrows. We've seen the first 2 pillars of true Stoic strength: think less, talk less. But there is a third, perhaps the most important, because it is not enough to silence your thoughts. It is not enough to control your tongue. You must also focus more, because the energy you save from fewer thoughts and fewer words must go somewhere. And the Stoics direct it toward one thing: purpose. You've learned to think less. You've learned to talk less. But now comes the real test. Where do you put all that saved energy? The Stoics would say, direct it into focus. Because what you focus on, you become. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But thoughts are like wild horses. If you let them run in every direction, they carry you nowhere. If you harness them, they take you exactly where you want to go. Today's world is designed to scatter your focus. Every ding, buzz, and notification steals a piece of your mind. Before you know it, your day is gone. not wasted in laziness, but in fragments. The Stoics would see this as a tragedy. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every scroll, every click, every distraction is time you will never get back." The question is, where will you place your attention? To the Stoics, focus was not soft. It was a weapon. The man who can hold his mind on one thing while the world screams for his attention, that man is unstoppable. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be good, first believe you are bad." Why? Because only then can you strip away the noise and work with discipline. Focus means cutting away everything unnecessary. It means choosing one target and aiming until the arrow lands. Here's a challenge. Every morning, write down one task that truly matters. Not 5, not 10, just one. Then, protect it like a soldier protects his emperor. Turn off your phone. Close the tabs. Shut the door. Do not stop until it is done. This practice is powerful because it forces depth over breadth. The Stoics didn't believe in chasing everything. They believed in doing the essential excellently. Imagine pouring water into 10 cups at once. Each gets a drop. Now imagine pouring it into one cup. That cup overflows. That's the difference between scattered energy and focused energy. The modern world celebrates multitasking. But Marcus Aurelius taught, if you seek tranquility, do less, or do what's essential. Focus is not about doing everything, it's about doing the right thing, fully. Every great figure in history mastered focus. Socrates devoted his life to questioning and seeking truth. Marcus devoted himself to duty and justice. Epictetus devoted himself to teaching freedom of the mind. They weren't half-hearted. They weren't distracted. They were consumed by their purpose. The Stoic life is not about doing more. It is about doing less, better. Seneca's challenge to his students was simple. Guard your time fiercely. Waste it not in meaningless talk, nor in aimless action. Try this. Block 2 hours each day. Treat it as sacred. During those hours, no distractions, no small talk, no wandering. Only deep work, only focus. 2 hours daily for 1 year equals a lifetime of progress, compared to scattered hours. Focus also brings stillness. When your energy is centered, your heart calms. You stop chasing everything. You stop fearing missing out. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." When you focus, you enter that place. Your soul becomes your fortress. Think of focus like an arrow. If you pull halfway, it falls weak. If you aim at 10 targets, you hit none. But if you draw fully, aim carefully, release, it flies with unstoppable force. That is the Stoic way. Not scattered, not wasted, directed, purposeful, sharp. Today, the biggest enemy of focus is the phone. Marcus didn't have Instagram. Seneca didn't have TikTok. But if they did, they would say exactly this. Use it, but do not be used by it. Try this Stoic rule. Before reaching for your phone, ask, is this serving my purpose or stealing it? Every time you choose purpose over distraction, you reclaim your power. Think less, talk less, focus more. This triad transforms you. Thinking less clears the fog. Talking less conserves the energy. Focusing more directs that energy into creation, growth, and greatness. This is how the Stoics lived. And this is how you can live today. Here's how to apply all three. Morning, journal. Write down your main worry. Divide into in my control / not in my control. Daytime. Guard your words. Speak less. Listen more. Save your energy. Work hours. Pick one essential task. Focus deeply. Finish it. Evening. Reflect. Ask, did I live with purpose today? Repeat daily. Strength is not built in a single day. It is forged in repetition. For the next 7 days, think less. Write down your top worry and let go of what you can't control. Talk less. Practice the silence test. Speak only what's true, necessary, kind. Focus more. Choose one task and complete it fully. At the end of 7 days, reflect. Notice the calm. Notice the strength. This is not theory. This is practice. This is the Stoic path. True strength does not come from noise, not from endless thoughts, not from endless words. It comes from clarity, from discipline, from focus. The Stoics lived it. Now you can too. So tonight, when your mind races, remind yourself, I will think less. When your tongue itches to complain, remind yourself, I will talk less. And when distractions pull you in every direction, remind yourself, I will focus more. That is the path to peace. That is the path to power. That is the path to a life worth living. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it inside. Take action. Try it for 7 days. And if it changes you, come back here. Share your journey. Join the Stoic community. Subscribe for more wisdom. Comment your favorite Stoic practice below. And remember, true strength begins when you think less, talk less, and focus more. Be strong, be calm, be stoic.